Welcome back to my channel. So today I'll be showing you guys how to make a turtleneck long dress, and for that you might need about 4 yards or 3.5 yards of fabric. So let's get started. So guys, the first thing I'm going to do is to cut out what I'll use for my flay, which is going to be floor length. So I'm just going to cut out about maybe 3 yards of this here, the fabric itself, just keep it as my girder for the bottom. So now to start cutting the main body of the dress, the top part, so what you're going to do is fold your fabric into 2, check your bust measurement divided by 4. So for me, I'm working with 42 divided by 4, that should be 10.5, right? So I'm going to add extra 1 inch for seam allowance, so that's 11.5 that I'm working with. So that's what I have here folded. The next thing you're going to do is to check your shoulder to waist. So the shoulder to waist that I'm working with is 18, but I'm going to add 1 inch to it to make it 19. The 1 inch is for seam allowance, half an inch for joining the shoulder of the top, and then the other half an inch is for joining the bottom of the dress to the girder. So now I'm going to mark it here. Your shoulder to waist, yours might be 17, yours might be 16, so for me it's 18. So the next thing I'm going to do is to check your shoulder measurement. So the shoulder I'm working with is 16 divided by 2, that's 8. I'm going to subtract 1 since it's going to be sleeveless. So I'm going to come in here, and that's about 7. Then come down, mark my armhole. Armhole that I'm working with is 20 divided by 2, that's 10. So I'm going to mark it down here. Add my shoulder slant, which is just come down by 1 inch on that same line. And then the next thing you're going to do is to come to your neckline. Here, if your bust is bigger, like if you're working with bust of 44, if you're working with a bigger bust, maybe 44 or like I don't know, 44, 46, 45, maybe you might want to make your neckline 3.5 by 3.5. Or but for me, I'm working with 42, so I'm going to make my neckline 3.2 by 3.2. You can also make it 3 by 3, as in 3 by width and then also 3 by length. It depends on you. But if you're small size, then 3 inches by width and 3 inches by width will be enough for you. If you're medium, if you're large XL, maybe 3.2 by 3.2, that's 3.2 by 3.2 length. If you're more on the bigger side, like maybe bust of 46, 45, then you might want to make it 3.5 by 3.5. So that's it. So after that, I'm going to mark this down here, because remember, this is going to be turtleneck, and you don't want after sewing it, since the fabric is not stretchy, it will start choking you. So you want to have some ease. So that's why I'm making my own 3.2 by 3.2. So after that, you're going to connect your shoulder slant, and then you're going to give it the curve here, and then come down to your waist. So the waist I'm working with is about 34 inches divided by, so 34 inches divided by 4, that's going to be 8.5 plus extra 2 inches, that's 10.5. So I'm going to mark it here, connect it to this point here. So remember, your bust, on this bust line, when you fold the fabric, you only add 1 inch for seam allowance, right? Divide your bust, add 1 inch. But when you come down to the waist, to shape it, you're going to add 2. 1 inch for your darting, and then 1 inch for the extra one seam allowance on the side. So that's it for this. I'm going to cut this out now. So guys, this is what it looks like right now. What I'm going to do is I've cut out what I'm using for the back panel. So this is it, folded into 2. So when you're cutting your back panel, it's almost as if you're tracing the front on the back, except you have about 1.5 or about 1.5 inch or 1 inch for your zip allowance. So that's what I have here. I have 1.5 from this center front to this point here. That's my 1.5. So what I'm going to do now is to cut out just follow the line, cut out my armhole, cut out the shoulder slant, and then when I come here, you see the neckline here is about 3.2 deep. But what I'm going to do for the back is I'm going to just come down 1 inch. It's going to be the depth of this one, the back neckline. So I'm going to connect it here. So from this point where the front starts, neckline starts, you see I've marked 1 inch deep for the back neckline. So I'm going to cut this out now. What it looks like right now. And this is the back neckline, this is the front neckline. If you feel like you would want the shoulder to fall in more, like you feel like you want it almost to look almost like an alternate neckline, what you can do is maybe come in more by 1 inch and then connect it down this way. So like come in a little bit more, maybe about 7.5 more, and then connect it, because I feel like I want it to be more inside of my shoulder than this, because this will still be inside of your shoulder just at the end like a normal sleeveless, but I want it to have a look of almost alter neck. So I'm going to come in by 7.5 in here and then slant it down and make it join this line. Sorry, I mean 0.75, not up to 1 inch. I mean 0.75. If you want, you can make yours 1 inch, but I mean 0.75, not 75 itself. So I'm going to come in here and then just make it join this line a little bit, you see, and then cut it out now. Because this is not up to 1 inch. If I add extra 0.25, then I'll have 1 inch. But I'm just making it 0.75. So I'm going to cut that out. So guys, this is what I'll use for the bottom of the dress. You see, I'm using the whole fabric the way it comes. The length, I think, is about 47 inches. So that's what I'm going to use for my girder at the bottom. I have about 2.5 yards here, or almost 3 yards is what I have for the flay at the bottom. So this is the whole fabric. As you can see, this is the end here. So I'm going to set it aside. So what I'm going to do first is go to the sewing machine and add my darts. So your darts, you're going to just check. For me, this is how I do mine. So check your breast points. For me is about 9 inches, right? So the 9 inches, I'm going to add extra half, 9 inches divided by 2. So that's 4.5. Add extra half an inch, so that's 5, which is at this point here, right? But I don't want to mark it on the right side of the fabric, so I'm going to hold it down and know the point. So it's here. I'm going to mark it down with a chalk, right? And then measure from your shoulder down to about 1 inch before your bust, your chest line. So for me, I'm going to, my chest line is somewhere about this 10, so I'm going to stop at 11. So your dart here is supposed to stop 1 inch before your chest line. So that's it from your bust line. So I've marked mine. So this is my dart here. And then I'm going to also mark my back dart. So from here, my dart is going to stop at about 7 inches here. So my dart is going to go from this end down up here, up to this point here. So basically, so I've marked this here. So when I go to sew, I just hold it and then I ball about half an inch on each side. So this is half an inch here, and then sew it and angle it down. The same for the front. So when I'm done, I'll join the shoulder together. So after putting my dart, the next thing is to join the shoulder. So guys, I'm going to use this bias. I finished putting the dart and I finished this side. So as you can see, I used bias to finish up the armhole, closed it up. So now I'm moving over to the other sleeve. So I'm going to use this bias, sew it down and finish up this side. So what I'm going to do after that is to join the bottom to this flay. Like join this bottom here to the top part of the dress. So guys, I've gone ahead and finished the sides and then attach the flay. So what I'm going to do now is to face the neckline. So what you're going to do for your neckline is to take your tape, measure around your neckline all the way, starting from where your zip is going to start here. Add even your zip allowance. So you're going to measure all the way around, measure everything out. So I already did mine, measure all the way to this side too. So what I got for the circumference is 20. So what I'm going to do now, I've cut fabric that is 20 inches of length. So but the width here is about 6 inches, right? It's 6 inches of width from this point to this point. So what you do at this point is to iron in the stay, the white stay, iron it down in to give it strength. I don't have it at the moment, so I'm just going to show you guys how it's done, and then later I'll go back and put mine in. So you're going to iron in the stay and then fold it back again. Remember I told you it's 6 inches of width, and then after folding it, you iron it down again, so it will look something like this, into two, right? And then you take one end of it, right, one end like this, and then you go back in and start sewing it down. So you're going to sew it down this way. Let me show you. So this is the neckline, right? This is the fabric. It's folded now. So what you're going to do is, the way it is now, you're going to start from one side of this zip, one side where the zip is supposed to be. You're going to place it this way and sew it down, right? You're going to just keep sewing it all the way around, until you get to the other end of this here. And then when you're done, you're going to top stitch it so it will be able to stand. So I'm going to sew mine now and show you guys. So guys, this is the neckline. I've gone ahead and attached mine just the way I told you guys. Sew it down. So you see you have this seam here. So if you pull it up now, you see what it looks like. But to help it stand, right, to help the neckline stand, what you're going to do is, this extra seam allowance that you have here, you're going to go back and stitch it down. Like stitch it facing down, not facing up this way, right? Pull it down on, like, see, you see the way it is now. Push it down facing the inside of your clothes, and then you're going to make a stitch all the way around on top of it, all the way down, to hold down the seam, this seam that you have on the inside, just to hold it down. So when you're done, you're going to go ahead and put in your zip. So you're going to go ahead and put in the zip. I have my zip here. So when you go to put in your zip, you're going to start from this top here. You're also going to start with the turtleneck. So your zip is going to start from this top part here. That's how you're going to put the zip all the way to wherever your zip ends. I'm using 22 inches. So you're going to start from this very top here. That's where the zip is going to start. So when you zip it up, you're going to zip all the way to the end of the top. Like you're going to zip all the way to this point here. So guys, I've gone ahead and added the zip, added my neckline. So you see it goes up to the neck, and this is it. So thank you guys so much for watching. Please like, share and subscribe. Bye.